Ramadang Gumbo Jinjin Jambeya Chanzo Gangi Lodren Jinin Jinda Ninda Nanda Razave Jinin Dungun Jijin Zijre Ninjin Donga Lemamze Kandai Zimbe Zera Mare Mendo Indonga Injinse Dronzo Gunlain Bunje Andraje Yen Lain Drunje Yandenso Drondai Jendroi Nyemoi Nyelo Denjin Chandron Dronzenje Mare Menzen Dongai Nyungu Jinyin Jinze Radrinam Dene Da Jin Zan Jin Drese Yenden Enzo Jasen Duengo Jodra Jodain Jenyin Jendre Dale Menzen Jambe Yang Lan Du Omara Omaram Lanzana Indi Sende Genge Gera Vense Gendale Demo Membarabsane Kanda Denje Jonglo Endo Baye Lodre Bombe Nawa Zando So Kanse Dawara Inde Bam Chonsen Trevaran De Naya Gombo Jamyan Chenye Geme Barayan Don Warasho Zander Zen Garan Jire Zen Bema Bema Jemba Nisho Zonsuru Nom Nyan Drenden Janza So Kandre Lama Namla So Wainde Unjen Sanje Nimben Tungi Zendre Jen Rundo Yanzo Korlanjur Nandra Samye Ninde Dendre Ganchonjur Lembe Shavai Zowainde Jambai Jela Bime Nambar Drujala Selanje Yanzen Josomba Kamba Den Den Bema Ndonga Lin Janyan Jenze Wambo Zoande Kandre Lonje Bera Namba Drunzen Chenange Shende Lamsonche Reme Denze Yonden Jansunde Londren Taye Shala Zoande Omen Jenje Yenje Bochan Nende Zoen Sanje Gwenje Ngone Ransen Chugo Ngon Denze Ba Sawe Lame Shala Soande Namare Dambalega Nalodan Je Rom Dalam Yegin Rogan Jiraji Jamba Nam Jengi Dundaji Chetundo Manam Gadanyan Besim Jen Tam Je Namjin Sanji Je Sala Kobra Chao Nyamdo Changju Rinpoche Sal Dab December shoes.
So I request you all to listen with the motivation, the precious motivation of bodhichitta, thinking that we listen to these teachings for the purpose of establishing all our sentient beings, our mothers, who are equal in extent to space on the level of omniscient Buddhahood.
Kalchimbo Shidave, the Kalchimbo in Bikimze Kalesana, around so chu Nyemba Samba Drupla Kari Chanayang Tini Tangbo Kalchewa Jorwa Semje Tamba Segindi Kalchimbo Indi Tedabu Kunondi Nyelangan Samgo Yore.
And this is very important. This is extremely important, this motivation. Whether we are studying or listening to Dharma teachings or contemplating or practicing meditating, it is always essential to have this motivation, which is also called the preparatory practice or the preliminary practice of the excellent preparatory practice of bodhichitta.
제샤적이 최대 아니 나는 탑기 심바이나 되는 계사도 야침보 작투고요래 다 계사도 야침보 작투바 세미셰바 야침보 장가 송도메 바지 소르체발라 되는 계사 탑기 선바 저러슴게 담바 세게 다지 공도슈베 책들라 되는 삼로당 요래스 때 삼로당에 셈기 대다부지 송송아이나 신송아이나 되는 결혼기 최님 같은 조 빼면서 바 야침보들의 차르고래스.
So this is what is referred to as using the skillful means in our Dharma practice, the skillful means of bodhichitta. So if we're able to embrace our practice with the skillful means, to combine it with the skillful means, then the virtue that we will accumulate will be very vast. It will be inexhaustible and beyond any kind of measurement. It will be immeasurable. So we have to think about the bodhichitta and think about putting that motivation in place. And then if we're able to contemplate bodhicitta and then put into place the motivation of bodhicitta in our Dharma practice, then our virtue will be extremely vast in this way.
콜론데는지 마신네 되는 거랑도 최신이 바이나 되는 거랑도 최인인데 페인sam마도 되는 개와 자침보시라 두고 말했어. 통하는도 개와 자침보시 두고 요래. 가르스나 상지지 고방토발라네 개와 자침보시 마둠나 되니 상지지 고방토 두고 말해. 된지지 개와 자침보 두고기 탑이 약슈됐다. 공원 창조쌤 servadere.
So if we don't have this kind of motivation, which is so important, the motivation of bodhicitta, if we don't put into place that motivation, then when we study or listen to the Dharma, we will generate some virtue, some positive energy, some virtue, but aside from that, it won't be the vast and inexhaustible virtue that we need. And in order to attain the state of a Buddha, we need that kind of vast and inexhaustible virtue that is necessary for us to attain the state of Buddha. And so this is why we need this vast attitude of bodhicitta. That vast attitude of bodhicitta will enable us to accumulate a vast, inexhaustible amount of merit, which is what we need to attain the level of Buddha.
남카다 냠바 요새로 셈진 남카 거에서도 셈진될 요새로 근데요나 나랑기 삼바대 앞에 마세 야침부지 차 삼바 야침부 여발라 때네 되니 삼바 텔라 때네 나랑도 최체바데 되니 야침부 차도요
So then the question may arise, well, how is this motivation of bodhicitta so vast? What makes it so vast? How it works is that when we have the motivation of bodhicitta, we have in mind in our motivation all sentient beings without exception, absolutely every single sentient being. And that amount of sentient beings, all the sentient beings without exception, has no limit. There's no limit to the amount of sentient beings. There's no way to count them. It's an uncountable number of sentient beings, just as it's always said, how the sentient beings are equal in number to the sky or to space. It's a totally unlimited amount. So because we have that unlimited amount of sentient beings in mind and our motivation, then when we practice with that motivation, the practice will likewise become unlimited and vast in that way.
ngaki geja shatangi namjur ki teng la mindua tendi samban gedam mige chirale gedik sunyen chichung jemi to sonda tene gewa gyache chung de thoma de samba gewa dam mige wala ra le gi do song temado tene gewa sunyen gi chela tene chejung ra le gi mindo song samba chimbo yona de gewa gyache mo du do song.
So this so the amount of virtue, then it follows based on the mind. The mind is the crucial factor in determining the amount of virtue or non-virtue that we are practicing. It doesn't have as much to do with our body or our speech, like the appearance of what we're doing with our body, or how we are talking and so on, using our speech. The most important is the mind. And there's a saying that goes, the virtue will be produced depending on the motivation, but it does not depend on the kind of image or like the form of what you do. So it means that whether what you do is virtuous or non-virtuous, or how powerful a certain action is, ultimately depends on the mind. It doesn't depend on the appearance that you make, or how it may look, or what you're doing with your body and speech as much. And this is why our gurus, they always tell us, if you're listening to the Dharma, always listen with the motivation of bodhicitta. If you're doing some kind of puja or different ritual practices, then you should always do that with the motivation of bodhicitta. And they always give us instruction on the excellent preparation of bodhicitta, the excellent kind of introductory part of the practice of bodhicitta. So we can see from this how important bodhicitta is.
Detula sharonans da kanshi sembar tsewe chodi tene name Tukdrup Barché Künsel ji Ngöndro tres ta Ngöndro chiden tela tene Ngöndro tsikdil niba tela Ngöndro kache imba sumba tela Ngöndro nyamnen jeding disum shiba tela dibjang da sosa insul ngaba tela Ngöndro yewa ngaje yoba nami tene tanda kapsa baba ngaba tres.
So I want you all to please keep that in mind, and yeah, to really keep this in your hearts and keep it in mind about bodhicitta. So now, as far as the the Dharma that is going to be taught today, it is the seed of supreme awakening, the liturgy for the preliminary practices adorned with clarifications from the Guru's hard practiced speller of all obstacles. Samye Tukdrup Barché Künsel. So there's 5 main topics in this teaching. First, the explanation of the phrase preliminary practices. Second, how the preliminary practices are important. Third, the practice of the extensive, medium, and concise preliminary practices. Fourth, how the preliminary practices purify obscurations and gather the accumulations. And fifth, the types of preliminary practices. And we finished the first 4. Now we're on the 5th, the types of preliminary practices. So among the 3 types of preliminary practices, we have the preliminaries of material items, the preliminaries to the session, and the preliminaries to the main part. We finished the first 2, and now we're on the 3rd, the preliminaries to the main part. So, and within the preliminaries to the main part, again, there are 2 sections, the common outer preliminaries and the uncommon inner preliminaries. And we're on the common outer preliminaries, which consists of the 4 thoughts that turn the mind from samsara. And these 4 thoughts that turn the mind from samsara are death and impermanence. First is the difficulty in obtaining the freedoms and advantages, then death and impermanence, karma, cause and effect, and the sufferings and faults of samsara. And now we're on the 1st, which is the difficulty in obtaining the freedoms and advantages. So for the explanation of the difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages, they're being explained using the verse written by the Bodhisattva Shantideva, which goes, these freedoms and advantages are extremely difficult to obtain, and they are whereby the aims of beings may be gained. If I now fail to turn this situation to my profit, how could such a chance be mine again? So among those, the 4 lines of that verse, we're now on the 3rd line.
갈데 델라 펜바 마두나스네 텐첸예바 델라 테는 가난서 펜바 마두나 아니 방보레스 아니 시바텔라 아니 다스르냐바 델라 아니 치마 테니 녜가와레스 치마 녜가와레스.
So the first line of this verse, which says it's so hard to find this opportunity and fortune, this line teaches how it is difficult to find the freedoms and advantages. That's the meaning within that line. Then the second line, whereby the aims of beings may be gained, that second line teaches how it is incredibly fortunate and a meaningful opportunity to have the freedoms and advantages. And the third line, if now I fail to turn it to my profit, that teaches how if we don't take advantage of this very fortunate and meaningful opportunity, how it would be a great loss. And then the fourth line, how could such a chance be mine again? This teaches how if we don't take advantage of this precious opportunity, later it is very difficult to come upon it again.
Tene tazur tene shindu nyebar kawe nangla tene ngo talwa samba, kepra chuji jirwa samba, tene gyuyi kone nyebar kawa samba, peyi kone nyebar kawa samba, tangi kone nyebar kawa samba, nga titi nangla rugres.
So the explanation of the difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages, it can be thought about in terms of 5 topics. The basic nature of the freedoms and advantages, which are the freedoms, the 8 freedoms or 8 states of opportunity, is like the kind of basic, the nature or identity of the precious human life. And then the second one is the special characteristics of the precious human life, which are the 10 advantages or 10 fortunes, depending how to translate it. And then contemplating the difficulty of finding the precious human life in terms of its cause, in terms of analogies, and in terms of the numbers, the numerical difficulty. Those 5 are the topics.
Kebutandu toparchurwala sidi ani nubashila kogore tadi kare ani nganansu tajurdi nyeba ina teni nganansu lam rimbasum nyonti de lam chanju sembe lam khang dubna yan dubtuba yana teni negab kitigi tardu kitigi kare duba ina dubtuba tenreji nubashi toparchurwala kebutandu toparchurwala la kres.
So that's those 5 topics can explain the difficulty to find the freedoms and advantages explained by the first line. So hard to find this opportunity and fortune. Then the second line, whereby the aims of beings can be gained. This line has to do with the fact that there is a great potential in this situation of having the precious human life. With this precious human life, we have a great ability, great potential to help ourselves and help others. We can practice any of the vehicles of Buddhism, the Shravaka, Yana, Pratyeka Buddha Yana, Bodhisattva Yana. We can gain liberation in that way. And whether we are considering temporary happiness and benefit, or the ultimate permanent happiness and benefit, we can accomplish all of those things using this precious human life. This is the meaning of the second line.
Sumbatela tini pemba drupa tengures, pemba drupa tela tini pemba drupa khazan kondu, pemba drupa kulwa, right? Tini pemba drupa kulwa tela yang tini pemba drupa kulwa, pemba madurna tini pangbo yimba, tele pangba shimeba, tini pemba jidar drupsul, tazurki tini pemba jidar drupsul sumdwa.
And then the third line, if now I fail to turn it to my profit, this has to do with teaching us to take advantage of the situation and make it meaningful. And so we can divide this into 3 topics, which is first, it's a kind of urging us, or we are being urged to take advantage of the precious human life. And secondly, reminding us that if we don't take advantage of the precious human life, what a loss that would be. And thirdly, what are the means or methods to take advantage of the precious human life and make it meaningful.
전에 가장 인볼림 바꾸어들라 다들 대딩의 인볼림 바꾸어들라 된 가장 점점 넘어 숨도와 드부터급의 치나 꼴와 아니 계속 드부터의 계속 상황이나 꼴와 근데 드마텐렉단 때는지 산자미 인베시나 꼴와스 다 꼴급의 점점 넘어 숨도와 꼴와들라
And then within those three parts of this third line, that we are urged to take advantage of the precious human life, what a loss it would be if we didn't take advantage of it, and what are the means to take advantage of it. The first of those, the urging to take advantage of the precious human life, this has again three kind of aspects to it, which are firstly that we have to attain the result. We are being urged to attain the obtain the result of practice, result of the path. And secondly, to contemplate how we have all the conditions necessary to do that, have all come together for us now in the situation. And then thirdly, that right now is the kind of a decision point, or kind of like a crossroads between lasting goodness and lasting evil, or lasting a good result and a lasting bad result.
다들은 그네 다주는 걸 림바풀와 그네 다주 대대는 닝보시 레마tum나 파와임바스다 닝보시 레마tum나 파와임바기 값을 봐봐래.
So today we've arrived at the second of the three aspects of this third line. We finished talking about how we are being urged to take advantage and make the precious human life meaningful, and now we're reached the second aspect of it, which is how great a loss it would be if we fail to take advantage of it.
네, 파와임바데 아니 가르송을 열에서나 되니 밀리린체 녀바데 누르분녀바 도마이 교셰메베 미남기 동세체바 통왕삼송.
So the way that this is a loss, what a loss it is if we don't take advantage of it, is taught in the line that goes, this precious human life is not equaled by the most precious of jewels. The most precious of jewels cannot equal this precious human life. Do you see how people with no weariness with samsara, no renunciation, they disregard it?
다들 된다서 어디 가르스나 드부 톱 얘기 고갑 연나양 되니 드부 마토바 제바이나 되니 방보레 시베테.
So the meaning of that line is that if somebody has the opportunity to get some really to gain the result that they want, to achieve their result, but then they don't use that opportunity, that is a great loss.
밀리 인진스 밀리 생데 되니 다절로 고고래 네 다절 림부체에서 가서 밀리디 림부체라 샤송아인 바래 에나 너버 림부체디 되니 나랑라 여바이나 되니 나랑도 너버 림부체라 솔와타 바이나 되니 나랑라 고에기 균으로 롱제된 너버 림부체기 뜨기요라 대나신지 되니 다절 리겐 데이팅 나랑 속에 되니 chegewa ya kola sopa drupa cheba ina tene ngarangla koe tse digi digi tse chime digi tharbada thamje digi thamje tene thaljur dila tene yongu yore pe tena shinji tene nurburimbo chela tene göde thamje chunga na shinji tene thaljur milila tene chungi yode tene milirin chensla bar.
So here the line goes, this precious human life is cannot be compared to the precious jewel, or even you can say precious wish-fulfilling jewel. So the meaning is that that this precious human life is precious, more precious than any kind of wish-fulfilling jewel. And so in the same way that if somebody has a wish-fulfilling jewel, they can pray to that jewel and ask the jewel for whatever they may want, and it will be able to grant them anything they need in their life. This is how the wish-fulfilling jewel works. So in the same way, here in the analogy, the precious human life is even greater than a wish-fulfilling jewel, because it's just as by using the wish-fulfilling jewel you can get whatever you desire. By using this precious human life, we may attain actually everything that we could ever want or need. We can attain happiness in this life and happiness in our future lives. And we can attain the life and rebirth in the higher realms and the liberation. And so this is why this human life or human body is called the precious human life, or the precious human body, like a precious wish-fulfilling jewel.
Nibate tene nurbu nyebe thoma insere ta nibatela milirin che nyeba tang tene nurbu nyebate tene yakduk kagi yagare kagi dugare sene yakdugi trendur durba chena tene karsagore nurbu rimbochegi milidila tene durtug mare sungore.
So then the second part of this kind of verse, which says attaining this precious human life cannot be matched by finding a wish-fulfilling jewel. Those are the first two lines of the verse. So the second line there is it cannot be matched by finding wish-fulfilling jewel. It cannot be compared with finding wish-fulfilling jewel. So if we were to compare the obtaining of a precious human life with the freedoms and advantages, that attainment with the attainment of the wish-fulfilling jewel, and to kind of to try to think about which is better, which one would you rather have, which is the better thing to find. The wish-fulfilling jewel would not be able to compete with the attainment of the precious human life. It's not as good as attaining the precious human life.
다디 책니들 양 안주 삼라당에 레기요래. 당보 다준 밀리디 너르는 비치라고 레라 그래. 니바델라 양 안주 칼로레 다준 밀리당 너르는 비치 드라그 말에 다준 밀리디 백해침보레 너르는 비치 가침보 말에 너르는 비치기 다줄라 누르투 말에라 그래.
So there's some something to think about within those first two lines of the verse. So the first line is saying that the human life is this kind of human life with the freedoms and advantages is precious, like a jewel. Because that line goes, attaining this precious human life, or this kind of jewel, precious as a jewel human life. And then the second line says is cannot be matched by finding a wish-fulfilling jewel, right? So in the first line, the precious human life is being compared with the jewel. It's being called precious, or in a comparison, in the manner of a jewel. And then the second line is saying, but on the other hand, the wish fulfilling jewel actually is not like the precious human life. It's not as good as the precious human life.
제 간데레스나 테니 nga랑 소지 테니 누르름 부체디기 테니 nga랑 솔라 괴데테기로와 괴데트바 이나 테니 nga랑 솔 괴데트바디 체딜라마도 팬둑 마레 누르름 부체디 다 달줄 밀리디 덴레 마라 체딜라 펜바마세 체치말라야 빙기도와 체치말라 펜바마세 산지지 고만토베라 빙기도와 대인디 테니 누르름 부체레 짱 락스레도와 누르름 부체기 달줄라 durna dur투구 민도와
So the way to understand this is that if we think about the wish-fulfilling jewel, if we had found the wish-fulfilling jewel, this will fulfill our desires and give us what we need. Whatever we need, this wish-fulfilling jewel will be able to fulfill that. But on the other hand, the wish-fulfilling jewel can only help us with concerns of this life, things that we need now in this life. And this is not the case with the precious human life. The precious human life, it can, or precious human body, it can allow us to attain what we need in this life, but not only in this life, but in the next life. And not only that, but it allows us to attain the state of Buddha, omniscient Buddha. And so if we think about it in that way, there's no comparison between the two.
당보 다저디 밀리는 것이라고 그래. 당보 다저디 드니 누르는 것이라고 그래. 라그래. 드니 누르는 것이라고 지야 짜고래. 다저디. 짜온데 니바양 누르는 것을 잘 학스레스. 텔레잘 나가 바로래.
So the first line here that says finding the human life or human body, which is precious as a jewel, or the precious human life, this is not matched by the finding a wish-fulfilling jewel. So in the first line there that says finding the precious human life, that human life is being elevated up to the level of a jewel, precious jewel. And then in the second line, which says it's not matched by finding a wish-fulfilling jewel, it's then further elevating it. So it's we understand that it's like a totally superior to the wish-fulfilling jewel.
직순바들라 교시메비 민남지 동서체바 통남상수다 교시메비 민남지 시디갑소 되네 가랑 저기 다저지 리된 된다시 톱 유베 띵네 데이 띵네 가랑 기트니 추식 두바 예나 되니 체디기 디기 두투바 되니 체치메 디기 두투바 되니 코레 동알레 타르베 디기 두투바 되니 상제지 고방기 디기 두투바 된데 디기 두투베기 네바시 요레.
So then the third line goes, do you see how people with no weariness or renunciation disregard the precious human life? So the meaning, this is that if we take advantage of this precious human life and are able to make it meaningful, on the basis of this precious human life, we will be able to attain the happiness in this life, and we will be able to attain the happiness in the next life. We will be able to attain liberation from all the sufferings of samsara entirely, and we will be able to attain the state of the omniscient Buddha.
다 된대기 디기탐제 룹트베 여베 고갑데 되는 거랑서 고급대 표준 마당의 샤샤와이나 되니 표준 마당의 샤샤겐 대졸라 아니 표준 단계 된저게 가리 통고열에서는 교심의 비밀이 쓰고 셈 교금인도 쓰고 가서는 교화기금인도 쓰고 디기딘데 토베기 뉴바데 아니 토바르 마체니 된 데데나 양원에서는 토바르 마체는 셈 교고고 열어왔다 교심인도 쓰고.
So if we if we have this opportunity to attain this kind of happiness and liberation and so on, and then don't take advantage of that happiness, then such a person who does that, in the eyes of someone who understands the value of the opportunity, is able to take advantage of it, they are actually a very kind of unfortunate. Those people are very unfortunate, and really kind of suffering a great loss.
다 그러나 디기 토베기 고급디 요르데 이나양 고 디기 토베기 고급디 마전디 테네 콜라 셈 교나야면 독스고래 셈 교낭 maybe 아니 교시 maybe 미남지 동세 제바 통합상 다주르디 동세 지도 촐라던 게 놀라.
Yeah, so these kind of people who are not taking advantage of that of this opportunity, they have no weariness about samsara. They're not, and they also don't have the weariness in terms of not taking advantage of that situation. They have this great opportunity in their hands, and then they just waste it. They don't take advantage of it, and they have no sense of the loss of that. So that's why the line goes, do you see people with no weariness, how they disregard the precious human life? So what it means when the verse says that they disregard the precious human life, it means they don't value it, and they actually waste it.
거디 드부 디기토바 탐제 고갑디 유샤바.
And they have taken this opportunity to attain all happiness, every kind of happiness that could be attained. They've taken that opportunity and just thrown it away.
다 드부 디기토베 고갑디 유샤바이나 방보러와.
And isn't that really a great loss if somebody does that, if they throw away an opportunity to attain every kind of happiness they could want?
다시 밀리린젠 세상인데 너브림부체디 아니 나랑서로 여바이나 너브림부체디 되니까 깔바 성도의 규도가 없었더니 레레 중국이래. 다 딘데기 너브림부체디랑 그 중랑 라우도 중의 깝라 되는 나랑서 너브림부체라 솔로 잡네 되니 그대지 나랑서 렌도바 제국이요라. 다 너브림부체 라우도 여바데 샤샤바체 텔라 솔로 마잡 그대기 드부드 솔로 마잡 그대기 드부드 랑 말림바이나 된 너브림부체 동서 제바라. 너브 촐라 당와라.
So if we have for example, this precious jewel, the wish-fulfilling jewel, this is to obtain this wish-fulfilling jewel. It's extremely rare occurrence, happening only once in the entire eon. So, once somebody obtains that wish-fulfilling jewel, they have the ability to use it and get anything they need. They can ask the jewel for whatever they need, and they will be able to obtain that. So it's like somebody getting that wish-fulfilling jewel and having that chance to use it, and then just not using it and putting it to waste. And this is referred to in our text, which talk about coming into possession of the wish-fulfilling jewel and wasting it, putting it to waste. So to give a kind of maybe easier to understand example, let's say I have like a really nice car, a really beautiful, expensive, great car, and I just leave it sitting there, and I never drive it, never use it, and then eventually it starts to kind of break down, it doesn't work anymore. That is the great waste, isn't it?
나실에 양 알아서 고급생인데다 알아나 울망부지 토베기 고급 여바이나 되는 말한 게 울망부 여베 고급 여베 튜갑들랑 알아서 울망부 랭고로 하다 라고 받쳐고 여러 된 울망부 랭기 고급 여베 갑라양 된 울말레나 되니 다 알아서 단다 디기탐제 육샤바 나시레 디기탐제 육샤바이나 방보로
So another example, for example, if we have the opportunity to earn a lot of money, a great amount of money, and then we don't take advantage of that opportunity when we actually should take advantage of it to gain a large amount of money. That is also can be compared to this. It's like throwing away an opportunity to gain a lot of happiness, right? If you have an opportunity to make a huge amount of money very easily, but then you just don't do it, don't do anything. It's also like that. It's like a wasting opportunity that way also.
디기탐제 토베 고갑디 육샤가 여디 네 대방보를 해라고 당고디.
So this is the first point here, which is that we have this opportunity now at hand, where we have the ability to attain all happiness, all the happiness we could want, and if we waste it and don't take advantage of it, how great a loss that would be. This is the first point.
Anybody 아니 ngarang kita mama kale mongbo japshakwa the teni kale mongbo japshakwa la tene tanda darjurgi mili top yorwa ten darjurgi mili topa tela teni 담배 취해 그 고갑시 요래 담배 취해 그 고갑이 여바 돼 tene yukshabayina yang pangbo.
And then secondly, we can think that we actually have done a lot we've gone through a lot of difficulty to obtain this situation that we have now. We have done all the kind of right actions and gone through a lot of difficulty to obtain the precious human life. And as a result of all of that difficulty that we went through and had to do, we now have this opportunity as a result of all that work and difficulty. And so thinking about it like this also, if we were now to just waste that opportunity or throw away this opportunity, that would also be a great loss, thinking about it in that way as well.
사실 당보대인 거랑 저 드리브토비아 고갑도 유거라 방보라 단이바디 최체 고갑 여바디야 되는 최 맞춰야 되나 되는 대 고갑 유거라 고갑 이바 유거.
So the first point that we went over was how much of a loss it would be to throw away this ability or opportunity to gain these results that we need, the result that we want. And the second point here is how it would be a great loss to throw away our chance or opportunity to practice the Dharma.
깔레망보 야베기트니 데부세베 갑라 땡아랑조 다주르 데 미든 레라 당봉한조 가르치고 열에서는 술좀 유령부 송그레 이바데 겨와자 첨보망부 사기레 숨바댕한조 몰람 톱 첨보망부 덴데 답기레 덴데 숨제 유령부 망부 제발라 떼네다 다주르지 덮고요.
So as far as what we had to do to get this situation of the precious human life, with the difficulty we had to go through and all the conditions we had to put in place, first of all, we had to maintain a discipline and practice discipline for a long time, for a very extended period of time. And secondly, we had to accumulate a really a vast and huge amount of virtue and merit. And thirdly, we also had to, in the past, we had to have made very powerful aspiration prayers. It's in dependence on these three things that we've done in the past that we now have this opportunity.
저기 나를 깔리 가고 가리잡래 술좀 송에때 깔리 가고 잡래 깔리 내가 먹고 쳐버려 개와자 친구 사야라 깔리 내가 먹고 쳐버려 테네 대가나싱가 몰람 답이랑 저 깔리 먹고 쳐버려 깔리 먹고 여름부 잡교기다 제보디 테네 달저기 밀리디 톱이 용디 테네 달저 밀리 톱아 텔라 때네 대가나는 쏟다 최치의 그 고갑지라고 그래.
So we went through great difficulty actually to maintain discipline for a really extended period of time. It's not easy. It took us a lot of effort, and we went through great difficulty as well to accumulate the vast and great amount of virtue and merit. This also takes a lot of work and difficulty, and also we went through great difficulty to make our aspiration prayers. And then finally, after going through all that difficulty, we have now attained the result, which is our precious human life. And this result of our precious human life, it is presenting us with a really extraordinary opportunity.
다 최지의 고갑들랑 또 최디 제바이나 테니 마음발라 되기 탐제 정도밖에 누가 최대라 요래 에나양 안도 최디 마체디 따데 마체바데 방보래.
Yeah, so as a result of all of that difficulty, we have now the opportunity, this opportunity to practice the Dharma. And this practice of the Dharma, which we're able to do now, that Dharma has the ability to bring us all of the happiness that we may need in this life or the next life, and so on. And but if we don't take advantage of that and don't practice the Dharma and throw away that opportunity, this is a great loss. And this was described by the Bodhisattva Shantideva, and he said, if having obtained this opportunity and knowing all of this, if I don't now practice or take advantage of this opportunity, there's no greater way that I could deceive myself, and there's no greater way, there's no greater loss that I could give myself.
대대 달완이 주나서 대대 다저리 주나서 지걸 된다기 나랑라 달와제 저러 주상백이 미대니 버 주네 되는 나랑기 개와라 콤바라 마체바이나 되니 가르쳐도 그래 나랑기 나랑라 고걸 땅와나 시레스 되니 나랑레 꼭지 나랑레 몽바체지 신요 말에 송.
So yeah, actually the second part goes, there's no greater way I could deceive myself, and there's no greater like a stupidity than this, than to not practice virtue. So it means that if I have attained the precious human life with the freedoms and advantages, and I have the ability to practice virtue now, which will lead me to happiness, to the ultimate happiness. And if I don't take advantage of that, then this is actually like deceiving myself, fooling myself, treating myself in that way, such that like kind of deceiving myself. And it's also, there's no greater stupidity than this. It means this is like really foolish. It's a really stupid thing to do, to not take advantage of this opportunity.
rangi cheshawa tele Ngöndro chewa rangi cheshawa tele kupa shenyo mare.
And this is really the way it is, actually. This is really the case, as he's describing in that verse. If we have this kind of opportunity that we have now, and then don't practice the Dharma, don't take advantage of it, this is like making a huge mistake. There's no greater mistake than this that we could make in our life, and there's no greater stupidity or than doing that.
다 다저리 리덴 땡네 드는 최식 두마토바이나 드는 카리샤요레 벤진 셀링도 진네 똥로도 줄바 승에 자고.
And so attaining the precious human life and not taking advantage of it is compared to reaching an island full of gold and precious jewels, and then returning back from that island empty-handed.
제 가르친 거에서나 테는 나랑 좋다. 나랑 울외 동안에 쓰레기 줬더라더니 다 쓰레식 nenga도 맞죠. 이제 쓰레기 링나. 로고고요나 테네다 이마망보 다와망보 로카시 공부잡네 다른 쓰레기 링나 로고고요라 깔레잡네. 땅아라서 되나징 다시 공동하나서다 출dimsung kewa kyachimbosa molamta bati ta rinje selling la kombakyamni doana shire sergiling la selling ga doana shire ta sergiling la nyama mabu kale kyamni tini sergiling la lebyongde ta sergiling de la dini serdang ulla soba tini leyorwa ti tienzo leni khiyongorwa ta midi pha lepchani serdangul khaya makher bachine tongbatongjang khorang lungba la logle baina ta midi khande chagre mi shemba gi ta na ya midi la khande de thungre kuppa lemba 강제 미싱에 더버지 동그러와.
So it's like if we want to alleviate our poverty, take care of any financial difficulty we have, the way to do that is to travel to such an island, like an island that has gold on it or precious jewels and so on. And it takes a lot of effort to get to that island. We have to travel there, and all the difficulty it takes to travel by sea or however it is, and walk also for a long time and go through all that difficulty to get to this island in order to get the gold and the jewels and so on that will help us to alleviate our poverty. So in the same way, we went through a lot of difficulty to get this precious human life, maintaining the discipline and accumulating the vast amount of virtue and making these aspiration prayers. We did that for a very long time in order to get into the situation that we're at now. So imagine somebody who wants to alleviate their poverty and then goes through so much difficulty sailing the seas for months or years, and finally arriving at the island of the jewels and gold. And they have all the jewels and gold there, and they can alleviate their poverty with those gold and jewels. And then imagine if this person then comes back home, back to where they live, without taking any of the gold and jewels back home. This person would be kind of a totally kind of a fool, right? How would that person look to other people? They would be totally crazy, total fool. So this is also how it is for us.
세상 말하는 소양 다저리 리딘 터위가 대대네 담배 조시 마르나 다 대답을 차그르다 동로 주고.
And for us as well, this is what we will be like if we having attained this opportunity and this situation of the precious human life, and then don't take advantage of it, we will be like in that same way as this person going to the island.
저는 셀링 듣지니 안에 동로 전에 영화에는 방보로 와. 전화 신증은 아주 다저리 리딘 터네 된 담배 쳐 마르나 매매서 방보로 와.
And so a person that travels to such an island full of precious jewels and gold, and then returns empty-handed, this is really kind of unfortunate and such a loss for that person, right? So this is the same for us, having attained the precious human life with the freedoms and advantages. If we leave this life without taking advantage of it and without practicing the Dharma in that way, this would also be so unfortunate and such a loss.
전화입니다. 다저리 테이팅네 되네 가서 그래. 다저리 랭잉볼 레마도나 텔레팜바 시메바 텔라 되네 니도와 줄 돌드나 디기탐제 파 육샤와이나 디기탐제 쇼와이나 파와 담비치 루마토바이나 파와.
So there's this circumstance of attaining the precious human life and then not practicing the Dharma, not taking advantage of it. We can think about it in brief in two ways, that it is greatly unfortunate and a great loss if we fail to accomplish our happiness, all the happiness that we could ever need with this precious human life on the one hand, and secondly, it is a great loss and greatly unfortunate if we don't practice the Dharma given this opportunity.
근데 가데텔라 판바 마투나 시베 갑소 테네 다줄 잉볼렘바 꿀와 다줄데 딩네 잉볼 레마톰나 텔레팡바 셰메바 니바로와 다 다줄 잉보 지달린 줄을 숨바델라.
So for this third line of the verse, we've now gone over the first two out of three ways to think about it, or aspects of it, which are
텔레팡바 셰메바 팡와 셰메바
니바라 담보데
다줄 잉볼렘바 꿀와.
Alright. So now we finished the first two of these three ways to think about this third line. The first aspect or way to think about it was how we are being urged to take advantage of the precious human life and make it meaningful. And the second is how great a loss it would be, how unfortunate it would be if we were to waste this opportunity, to throw away this opportunity. And now for the third aspect, which is the method or the means to take advantage of this opportunity.
자, 다줄 잉볼 랭고레스는 꿀러라. 꿀사회 제라 다 잉볼 레모도나 방보레스 라바라. 다 다준닝보 랭고레스 렌술 방보 있나 방보 마체술 때 가르레스 나더니 다준닝보 지달 렌술 생긴들다 두고고요. 다준닝보 레나 간데스네 랭고고요레스라 그래.
So at first we were urged to take advantage of the precious human life, and then on top of that, we are made to understand how great a loss it would be to not take advantage of it. And so now we think, well, if it's such a great loss, so unfortunate to not take advantage of it, then how should we take advantage of it? What is the method or the means to take advantage of it? So this is the third point.
다준닝보 렌술텔라 테니 야셀라레나라 야세 도메지 가르송도 다줄 두제니가 덥디테르 당신 크루에츠렌 다질칠 닌단센도 열와메바이 인생곰바 야셀라레 인송.
So the Bodhisattva Tokme, Gyaltse Tokme, he taught in the 37 practices of the Bodhisattva concerning this topic of how to take advantage of the freedoms and advantages. He wrote, at this time when we have obtained the boat of the freedoms and advantages, then we should the younger take the younger. So now that we have attained this very difficult to find boat of the freedoms and advantages, the precious human life, in order to liberate ourselves and all sentient beings from samsara, it is the practice of the Bodhisattva to constantly, day and night, to listen, contemplate, and meditate on the Dharma.
다만제 주로주데 아니 장조 8월도 이렇게 투나시레스 다디 투디 더베 깔래가고 요레스 거를 다주 부제니가 덥디들스 니가와 이나야 니디라.
So this in this verse, the precious human life is being compared with a great ship, boat, and so this ship, this great ship of the precious human life, with the 8 freedoms and the 10 advantages, it is extremely difficult to find, and the verse says, now that we have found it.
다신 코레스를 다지치르스를 다신 코레스를 세디가서 가스 도메기 쌈서죠 가스슬라우 소디마데 장지선바기 람라 장지선바기 람인데 티니 로아심진 찍다니 찍마라 로아심진 상마 찍어라 다신 코레스를 다지치르스 다 초디 코르와 둥알디 샤요레 다 티니 투디 티니 겸속의 파룰라 로아라고 다저디 샤레.
And then the second line goes, so the first line is, at this time when we have attained this great ship of the freedoms and advantages so difficult to obtain. And the second line goes, in order to liberate oneself and all others from the ocean of samsara. So this is the, what we are involved in now is the Mahayana Buddhism, the practice of the Bodhisattva path. So we are not only liberating ourselves and maybe a few other people or a few other beings, but we are concerned here with liberating every sentient being. So this is why it says, in order to liberate yourself and others, all others, from the ocean of suffering, or ocean of samsara. And and also here in the verse, the samsara is being compared with the ocean, an ocean of suffering, great ocean of suffering, and the precious freedoms and advantages are being compared with the ship or great boat or ship to go across the ocean.
닌다 첸도 예로아메바 인생 공부 자세라는 있으나 다 Nindan send the Ewa Meba Singdi, Tangaranzo Chilang Midabuji Nadini, Nilang Aranzo ta, Chue Dabuchi, Tini Tselanganzo Nihura, Aranzo Dabu, Nindan Sena Ewa Chigro, Ta Ewa Meba City Kabar Meba. Chanche Samba does a Karchigre, Samjin, Ninlayang, Tini Chue Nimlan Chigre, Tselayang, Chue Nimlan Chigre, Shiver, Nindan send the Ewa Mebas.
And then the third line says so it's saying in order to liberate ourselves and everyone else, then the third line goes to continually, day and night, listen, contemplate, and meditate on the Dharma. So here it's talking about continually listening, contemplating, and meditating. So, and day and night, without a distinction between day and night, all day, all night. So it's not that like most people, the way they live, if they're Dharma practitioners, during the day, they will practice for some time. And then at night, however, they just go to sleep and there's not really practicing at that time. But the bodhisattvas that are being described in this verse, in this text, they're not like that. They make no distinction between day and night. They're just continually practicing both in the day and in the night.
다 전지 선바된 저기 다줄링볼 렌즈도 간에서 랭도스나 드니 닌라양 공나바 터섬 곰섬 지겨레스 세라양 공나바 터섬 곰섬 지겨레스 던도서 가래 다줄링볼 렌라 가르치고레 남디 터바당 삼바당 곰베고네 드니 다줄링볼 렌고 요레라 보여 담비죠.
So these the bodhisattvas, what they do is during the day, they listen or study and contemplate and meditate on the Dharma. And then during the night also, they're listening or studying and also contemplating and also practicing and meditating on the Dharma. So this is showing us what is the way, how we should make the freedoms and advantages of our precious human life meaningful, how we should really put them to their true purpose. This is the means to do that, which is to listen and study the Dharma and contemplate on the Dharma and meditate and practice the Dharma.
네, 태성 곰섬기 꼬르테 아니 가장 공동을 아무것도 나와. 된 태성 곰데 땡라 밥 세배값 아니게 개발 시설어레스.
So this is a concept that we've already gone over. I've already explained this a while ago. The practice of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma. So it's referred to as truly ascertaining or mastering the Dharma through listening, contemplation, and meditation.
태성 곰섬 꼬르테 수르드디 제바이나 테니 토베 칙송 삼베 된제 곰베 냠술랑스 로고고 요레스 숨가.
Dunche's the origin. Dunche, sambe dunche.
삼베 된제 가리가리도 가리가리 말해도.
So even though I've already explained this, to explain it again in a brief, in a summary explanation, and what we have to do is through listening and study, we learn and understand the words, and then through contemplation, we analyze the meaning and come to understand the meaning through analysis. And then through meditation, we put it into practice.
근데 인디 아니 퇴섬 검숨데 드네 야탈도 송아메바 드네 창외권에 드네 냠슬한 거 보레스 드네 야탈도 송와이나 드네 밀라르바스 송와나신 드네 타우트의 견시 생애직 다 드네 제부메트베 견니라서 바카서 공도 쉬와라.
And so we have to approach the Dharma, our Dharma practice through combining these three and not doing them in isolation, doing them isolated. We have to combine listening and study with contemplation and with the meditation, combine them all together and do everything complete. That's the way to practice properly and attain the result. And if we don't do that, then it will be as was described by Milarepa, and he taught the four ways that people are separate, they lose the Dharma or become separate from the Dharma, and also the two faults relating to not attaining the result of the Dharma. So I have actually taught these here a while ago as well.
yang goba mebe teba te chubu pangze chingwada stendayan jebu tbe yomar den jebu mebe gyoni
네, jebu mebe 보통 그래?
teba mebe gombade na teba chigime teba de kai share dunga gomran jabi sen gom jabaina lagdum dala zabona shire koran thagola ya penbe yomar jebu tbe yomar yang teba mebe gombade sena gomba mebe teba de teni chubu 방자 칭와다 선양아 태바장 저기 곰색인데 그런 랑기 고미에도 태바디 고구도 태바장장 제대바이나 teni 곰냠네 마도 마닌 마체바이나 제부트바이에 말 제부 마도 비교니스.
So the four it's more better to translate it as the four ways we can remain kind of behind that are taught by Milarepa. Yeah, the four ways we can remain behind. So these are that the what we hear, which refers to studying or listening to teachings or studying, what we hear or study remains as just a kind of ideas or kind of just intellectual understanding. That's the first one. Then the second one is and what we understand of the Dharma that is left in our texts. The understanding is just left in the text and not with you. And then the third one is the instructions that we may give are just left, they remain just in our mouth. And then the final fourth one is that our mind will then be just remain ordinary, it would be left as ordinary. And those are the four ways that we may be left behind or remain, four ways that our practice will remain behind or be left behind. Then the two faults of not attaining the result, this has to do with, so the first one is the one who wants to practice and meditate without studying is like somebody with no arms who tries to climb a cliff. So this refers to somebody that may say, oh, I don't really need to study. I will just go straight into meditation. And I think I can attain what I need that way. But this actually won't work. They won't be able to attain the result that way because they didn't study first. Then the second of these two faults of not attaining the result is the one who studies but does not meditate is like a rich person who keeps his treasury closed. So it's somebody who has done a lot of study, but they consider that they don't really need to meditate, they don't need to practice so much because they've done that study. And then they won't be able to attain the result, just as even if somebody's rich, if they keep their treasury closed, they won't be able to use the wealth that's inside there.
근데 인디다 등상들랑 아랑주 망체와지다 퇴백이 강도 반로되기도 근데 많이 봤잖아요. 터바양 제기체 대강도 삼바양 제기체 대강도 곰바양 제기체 고요레스.
And this is actually what's happening with a lot of people nowadays, is that they're really just staying on that level of studying and just studying a lot without doing so much practice. So this, we should avoid this. We should not do this, but rather we should study, but at the same time that we study, contemplate that what we study, and at the same time that we contemplate what we study, we should put it into practice and meditate on it. So do all these things together.
인디다 가진 볼링스 렌나 컨디션의 랭고도 선한테는 가나서 퇴섬 검수나 때는 랭고도 이어받게 되는 가나서 시에고 요레스.
So this is the method for how to really take advantage of the freedoms and advantages of the precious human life, how to really get the true meaning out of our precious human life. The way to do it is to listen or study to the Dharma, contemplate the Dharma, and meditate on the Dharma. So we should know this, that this is the method to take advantage of the precious life.
that's somebody. 치대 식시바디 치대 양다주로 칼라 교로스디가서 다 다전잉보 렌사베 다주를 렌사베 제라 되는 거란죠. 대딩의 담배 취시 주마툭 근데 최송화 이나 되네 끼와 제마 되네 양 답았으디 다주를 양 답았디다 톱기 말에 가와 톱기를 라버.
So now to get to the fourth line of the verse, which is how could such like a great opportunity be mine again? So this refers to the fact that if we are not able to take advantage of the precious human life and not to attain the result that's possible to attain on the basis of the precious human life, later in our future lives, this kind of extraordinary opportunity is very difficult to obtain.
타치마 테니 빼면서 톡하보데 아니 간데르세나 테니 다레 다즈르 타예 마체나 치네 타르바르페 떼니가 데데 떼라 소남 세줄네 치웨와도 냥송 닌들 참송.
So this the way that this opportunity, this extraordinary opportunity, is difficult to obtain in the future, is described in the verse. The younger
다레 단다기 뒤즈들라 다레 다조르 남성 트리 버다 기랑 지금인도 하다 되는 다레 다조르 텐예 마체나.
So the first line of the verse goes, if we don't take advantage now of the freedoms and advantages.
다리 다주됨 친에 타르와 드루페 땡이 까
It would be very difficult to obtain the support for liberation later.
디드레 땡라 소남 세규니 대와 기부 다줄리딘 기부기 땡라 되네 대대바이나 소남 세두그레스 소남 세규니 대부민.
So within the higher realms of existence, the merit that brought us here will be exhausted.
치외 워두 년송 년도르캄.
And then after death, we will wander in the lower realms of the suffering.
다 다리 말한 게 리덴디 달와게 조라주 상고게 리덴 달레 달주 때라더니 말하는 저기 편도유베 레가디 마체나스 다레 달주 때에 마체나스.
So to explain the words of this verse, the first line goes, if we don't take advantage of the freedoms and advantages, so this is referring to the 8 freedoms and the 10 advantages of the precious human life that we have now.
깨와 제마 양다기 리덴 대 아니 톱 가보래서.
And then the second line is describing how later on it's very difficult to obtain this kind of bodily support.
톱 가보이 비 경zen데 가레스나 단대기 리덴 데이팅나 되니 소남기 소남은 소남 사베기 대와디 뇽네 다 체치마 나랑라 소남 메디 다 리덴디 톱 가보 차서.
And the reason that it's difficult to obtain this kind of bodily support later is then explained in the second part of the verse, because in the higher realms where we are now, we have this merit that's gotten us here, but it's being exhausted with this experience in the higher realm. And then after that merit has been exhausted, we will then have to head to the lower realms of suffering. So this is why it's difficult to obtain again.
가르세나 땡가랑기 리덴 톱게디 땡eng어마 소남기 톱저와 다 제마 양결 리덴 톱발라 소남 고로와 만아주다 수dimsung 아니 개완룩 땡네 몰람 따보고이라 다디 메디 땡네 개와 치마디 땡나 밀리토베요 말다.
Because we need merit to attain this kind of life, this life of the higher realms. And once this kind of situation is lost, we need more merit again to attain it again. So in order to attain the situation that we have now, we need to maintain discipline and accumulate virtue, and to make aspiration prayers. So having done all that, if all of those things which lead to this result, if we then don't take advantage of this result, we will need to accumulate all of that again in order to take advantage, in order to attain a similar kind of situation.
갈디 가지르기 밀리 마톰나양 밀리 딘데 식토바 이나양 테니 군조솜당 미잘와 게디기 랑도르기 네 미셰바 게웨 체인당 미체바 딘데르 기두르 미지게나양 딘데르 게바이나 능가랑주 치치다 탈사도.
So after this life, even if we were able to attain a human life, if we're not able to obtain the precious human life, but just a ordinary human life, then in that situation, the 3 jewels will not be, available, accessible in our life, and we won't have teachers around to help us, and we won't have those conditions in order to practice virtue. We won't have the the Dharma. We won't be able to practice the Dharma in that situation. So in that kind of situation as well, there will be no opportunity for us.
Tende indi militona jang tene migewa shada dudegire tene ngesong du dugure ta ngesong du dua ina yang ngesong sumgi nang ne tene takshe tindo ina yang tene tindo ki gewa duduk mare tindo ki tida go migewa dudne ma sae idala droye idala lepsona ma nyalwa la huye tene dawo ma to ya droye ki gogo brag mare tende indi chi di chi ma tajurnya pemiskal ka boredoa.
And given that kind of human life where we're not able to practice the Dharma, generally we will be practicing non-virtue and accumulating a non-virtue. And then on the basis of that non-virtue, we will have to experience the life in the lower realms. And even the best among the three lower realms, the animal realm, even if we get to that type of rebirth, we will not know how to practice Dharma. It's impossible actually to practice the Dharma more or less as an animal. And during that life as an animal as well, we accumulate more non-virtue and then fall further down into the realm of the hungry ghosts or pretas, and based on that existence in the hungry ghost to preta realm as well, we continue to accumulate non-virtue and eventually may be reborn in the hellish existence. And in these kind of existences, it's impossible to practice the Dharma. There is absolutely no opportunity to find the Dharma to lead to liberation. So this is why, this is how we can understand that this is why it is difficult to obtain this kind of opportunity again, difficult to obtain the precious human life again in this way. Okay, so now the teaching is finished for today. Let's all together recite the dedication and aspiration.
Sonam de tamje zegba ni tamne ne ben ranam tamje ne genga na je balam drupla siben solen rowan rowa sho.